Welcome to Poetry and Poets with SueAn Stradling-Collins. Today I want to cover a few things. First, I left off a Ted Kooser poem from our last taping, and so I have to add it. It's about summer. So I'm going to correct that error by leaving it off by reading it to you. It's called Those Summer Evenings. My father would, with a little squeak and a shudder in the water pipes, turn on the garden hose and sprinkle the honeysuckle bushes clipped to window height, so that later, as we slept atop our rumpled sheets, with windows open to the scritch of crickets, whatever breeze might flirt its way between our house and the neighbors would brush across the honeysuckle, sweet and wet, and keep us cool. So happy summer. I hope you're enjoying yours, and I hope that you have honeysuckle, sweet and wet, keeping you cool in the night. Again, that was Ted Kooser. All right, I want to talk a little bit about concrete poetry. Concrete poetry is when the form of the poem mimics what the poem is about. And so this is an example of concrete poetry. It looks like a basketball, and of course it is about a basketball. Very simple poem. I don't have an author for it. On the outside it says bounce, 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 bounce. I can't remember what it says exactly. Black, black, black. Game, 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 game. And the two words in the middle that are red say swish, swish. So that's concrete poetry, when your poem looks like your topic. And there are some famous examples of that. I recommend that you just type in Google concrete poetry, and you'll be able to see other examples. As you can see, we've got the Suns here. I'm taping this before Game 4, but the Suns are going against the Bucks at present, hopefully for the championship, and it's exciting. And so I thought I would share some poems about basketball also. And hopefully when you see this, the Suns will have either won the whole series or still be winning. That would be fabulous. So some basketball poems. Before I do that, I want to mention that the wonderful thing about the internet at present is that it doesn't matter what subject you want to use or look up, just put it in there. I put in basketball poems and had more than I can possibly read. Whatever the occasion is, if you love poetry and want to know about what poems are out there for some subject, just Google it and you're going to find the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I recommend, of course, that you seek out poetry. The first one I want to read to you is by John Updike, who is mainly a novelist, but he was also a poet. This one's called Ex-Basketball Player. And I want you to notice the way he's using words, because he's describing something that's not so much basketball. Yes, there's a basketball player in it, but listen to the words and how he uses them to talk about something else, but it sounds like a basketball game. So this is masterful. Ex-Basketball Player by John Updike. Pearl Avenue runs past the high school lot, bends with the trolley tracks, and stops, cut off before it has a chance to go 2 blocks. At Colonel McComsky's Plaza, Burst's garage is on the corner facing west, and there, most days, you'll find Flick Webb, who helps Berth out. Flick stands tall among the idiot pumps, 5 on a side, the old bubblehead style, their rubber elbows hanging loose and low. One's nostrils are 2 S's, and his eyes an E and O. And one is squat, without a head at all, more of a football type. Once Flick played for the high school team, the Wizards. He was good, in fact, the best. In '46, he bucketed 390 points, a county record still. The ball loved Flick. I saw him rack up 38 or 40 in one home game. His hands were like wild birds. He never learned a trade. He just sells gas, checks oil, and changes flats. Once in a while, as a gag, he dribbles an inner tube. But most of us remember anyway. His hands are fine and nervous on the lug wrench. It makes no difference to the lug wrench, though. Off work, he hangs around May's luncheonette, grease gray and kind of coiled. He plays pinball, smokes those thin cigars, nurses lemon phosphates. Flick seldom says a word to May, just nods beyond her face toward bright, applauding tiers of Necco wafers, nibs, and juju beads. The language, though, the pumps, there's 5 on each side. It's talking about basketball by talking about other things. And so it's just really a fabulous, masterful poem. The last author I want to share with you is one of my very favorites, and that is Sherman Alexie. Sherman Alexie is a current author. There's a picture of him. He was born in October of 1966. He is a Coeur d'Alene, Spokane Indian. He was born in Washington. He is a novelist, a short story writer, a young adult author, poetry, filmmaker. He's done many, many things. I didn't bring all of his stuff in. We do own quite a bit of it in our libraries. We also have quite a bit on Overdrive if you're interested in him. I love the title of one of his most famous short story books. It is Tonto and the Lone Ranger Fist Fight in Heaven is the title of the book. Great short stories. I have to say that he's very dark. It's not exactly why I love him. What I love about him is the way he uses words. Some of his messages are not pleasant. He talks about the Native American experience. He talks about being poor. His father was an alcoholic. He mentions that a lot. He just doesn't coat things prettily. But I think he is amazing in much of what he does. And he has quite a few poems about basketball. As you can see on the cover of this one, he's got a basketball net there in a city block. I'm going to read the first 2 stanzas of Defending Walt Whitman. It's quite a long poem, and so I'm just going to get it started. If you'd like to read it later, it's called Defending Walt Whitman. Basketball is like this for young Indian boys, all arms and legs and serious stomach muscles. Every body is brown. These are the 20th century warriors who never kill, although a few sat quietly in the deserts of Kuwait, waiting for orders to do something. Do something. God, there is nothing as beautiful as a jump shot on a reservation summer basketball court, where the ball is moist with sweat and makes a sound when it swishes through the net that causes Walt Whitman to weep because it is so perfect. And it goes on. The other one that I'll close with is, this is from his book, The Summer of Black Widows. Why we play basketball. And there's 5 I'll call them cantos, so sections to this poem, but it reads fairly quickly. Why we play basketball. In December, snow covered the court. We wrapped our hands in old socks, soaked the white snow with kerosene, lit the match, and melted it all down to pavement. We were Indians who wanted to play basketball. Nothing could stop us from that, not the hunger in our thin bellies, not the fear of missed shots, not the threat of white snow. We were small boys who would grow into small men. We played ball until dark, then played until we could see neither hoop nor ball. We played until our mothers and fathers came searching for us and carried us home. We played because we remembered the first time we shot the ball and knew beyond doubt as it floated toward the hoop that it was going to be good. We walked off the court, left the ball waiting as we fell in love with Indian girls who grew past us, who grew into Indian women. Somehow we grew families while that ball waited, inert, suspended, till we remembered, with a complex rush of pain and joy, what we'd left behind, how we loved the ball as it finally dropped in to the net after years of such patience. We wanted to know who was best, who could change the game into something new. We knew about Seymour, blind and deaf. He played by sense of smell. Leather balls drove him crazy. He identified his teammates by tribe. Spokane smelled like bread. Flathead smelled like pine. Colville smelled like snow. Lester smelled like wine. Seymour shot the ball when the wind told him it was time to shoot. In basketball, we find enough reasons to believe in God, or something smaller than God. We believe in Seymour, who holds the ball in his hands like you hold your God. It is just a game, we are told by those who cannot play it unless it is play. For us, it is war, often desperate and without reason. We throw our body against another body. We learn to hate each other, hate the ball, hate the hoop, hate the fallen snow, hate our clumsy hands, hate our thirsty mouths when we drink from the fountain. We hate our fathers. We hate our mothers. We hate the face in our mirror. We play basketball because we want to separate love from hate and because we know how to keep score. We play basketball because we still love the place where we lived. It was a small house with one door. We lived there for 20 years with crazy cousins and one basketball. We fought over it constantly. I climbed into a tall tree with the ball, refused to come down unless they made me captain. My brother dragged me from the tree and punched me so hard I saw red horses. We play because we believe in our skins and hands. These hands hold the ball. These hands hold the tribe. These hands build fires. We are a small tribe. We build small fires. I find him amazing. I highly recommend the works of Sherman Alexie, and we'll see you next week, and go Suns.